one of the issues that we've had with this team is Jekyll and Hyde, right? It's what are you going to get on a nightly basis? Well, you won last night. You're on the second night of a back-to-back. You're playing against a team that has struggled to start the season. They've regressed from last year, honestly. And I mean, they're just not that great. And realistically, this Leafs team should be able to handle them no problem. But traditionally, they don't. So all I wanted was just a clean win here tonight to show us that they're different. Are you believing that they're different here after this win tonight?
I don't know if I can get to that level. I will say they came out kind of sluggish in the first period. All I could think about all night is how bad Montreal is. Like they have so
Yeah.
many more games to go, and they look so defeated. But they're obviously destined for pretty high pick in the draft next June. From the Leafs perspective, I think all this is a process. I think we're going to have some stern reminders, Zach, throughout the season that probably lead us astray and lead us in the wrong direction. We'll say it's happened a couple times already before, but all in all, I think they're getting back to sort of the formula that worked early in the season, the first couple games, right? And that's just a strong forecheck, Craig Berube hockey,
Yep.
nothing flashy about it. I mean, even watching last night's game, it wasn't like it really stood off the page, and it was like an impressive effort. But they took care of business, they got the job done, and those are like your prototypical low event hockey type games that you're going to see in a Craig Berube. So I think 2 points well worth it. They were the way better team in this game.
It's a successful weekend here, obviously 2-0,
Yeah.
and it's not just that; it's 3-0 here now without Matthews. I saw a tweet come out after the game. Jonas Siegel put out the stat about it: 3-0 without Austin Matthews, outscoring teams 11-2. It's not just outscoring teams. It's not just going 3-0-0. It's special teams being on fire for this group. Another successful night for the power play. Successful one here for the penalty kill. They do get scored on, but they do score a goal themselves. What do you make of this power play so far without Matthews through these 3 games?
Dude, it's very leafy. Like we use that expression probably too much. It's cliche at this point on this channel, but yeah, I was in disbelief the last couple of nights, quite frankly, watching this Maple Leaf power play come to life. Like a week ago, they couldn't even gain the zone, and now they're scoring on essentially every shot. And it makes absolutely no sense, as you just referenced, one of the best players on the planet, periods, not in the lineup, and the power play scoring goals. Like I even wonder, Zach, if Matthews is good enough to come back on Tuesday, why the hell would you tinker with PP1 right now? Like, I think it's a fair question to ask, even though it is Austin Matthews, even though it's very likely that they're going to change it so Matthews is back with PP1. But this has to be the biggest story of the weekend, is even dating back to the Boston game, they go 3 for 7, then they go 2 for 2 against Detroit, and it continues against the Montreal Canadiens. It's just amazing how quickly conversations can change, where now I guess everybody loves Mark Savard again.
This is where the leafiness of the fan base really gets to thrive. Like this is when I put out that video the other day, the clip from the show with me and Rosie, and we're getting ridiculous. You know, Matthews, who do they need him? Whatever. After the game on Tuesday against the Bruins, this is when these debates start. But the problem is that there is something to it. Reality is you need him in the lineup. He's the best player on your team. He's the best goal scorer in the NHL, in my opinion. Like, you got to have him, and you're better with him on your power play in the long run, I would think. But, like, why would you mess with something that's hot right now with that group? Also, you know what there's a benefit to it is? This is going to be insane. You can tell me if I'm an idiot for this, but hear me out. The benefit of if you put just Matthews on the second unit, he's the only guy. If he goes out there on the second unit, there's no worry about I got to pass it to Willie, I got to pass to Mitch or Johnny. No. Fire away, buddy. No one else. Wait, I don't want Max Domi shooting the puck instead of you. If this is yours, you shoot the puck. So I don't know. Maybe there's something to that for Tuesday night against Ottawa.
I think the likelihood of Matthews staying on PP1 is like slim, or staying and going to PP2 is slim to none.
I
He's
know.
Austin Matthews, but I know what you're saying though. Like, I think it makes a lot of sense why the numbers have skyrocketed and have been skyrocketing without Austin Matthews in the lineup. You mentioned it, 38, 19, and 2 all time now without Matthews. Never mind the power play clicking, I think over 30% in those games. Like, it makes no sense, but in essence, it does, because it really feels like maybe they're trying to overcompensate too much because they got a guy who scored 69 goals last season
Yeah.
and is pound for pound the best goal scorer on the planet. Like it makes a lot of sense why the power play looks a lot different without Matthews in the lineup. But hey, I'm taking it as a positive. I think maybe you cross your fingers that Matthews comes in the lineup and the power play keeps humming. It's not even a conversation anymore.
This is Leafs Nation After Dark right here on Leafs Nation 401 on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Like the stream here tonight. I put up a poll, Nick, before we started the show. Who is tonight's MVP? I put 4 options. If someone else then there, or you guys want to add somebody, send it in the chat. I'm curious. But 4 players, and it's weird because they're going to be the 4 most prominent players, obviously, going into it and then coming out of the night. But I think these were the 4 best players, not just tonight, but over the last 3 games. John Tavares, William Nylander, Mitch Marner, Joseph Woll. Joseph Woll obviously stops 20 for 21 here tonight. It's not like he faced the craziest workload, but looked good in the work that he did have to handle. Tavares, Nylander, and Marner, every night, Boston, Detroit last night, and Montreal here tonight. It's like, well, look at the stat sheet. There's JT with a couple, Willie with the goal, Marner with some, contributing power play, penalty kill. Like, these guys have been all over it. How have you kind of evaluated those big 3, I guess, without Matthews in this lineup and how they've elevated their games?
Well, firstly, I think this proves the point that we're allowed to lose our shit when the Maple Leafs don't play well and they lose to Columbus and they lose to the crappy teams, because it just shows you what they can do, what they're capable, even without Austin Matthews in the lineup, right? It makes me even more pissed off, quite frankly. But I think to your question, all those guys have been phenomenal. We'll start with Joseph Woll. He wasn't overly tested. I thought he made some good saves in this game.
Yeah.
I mentioned the first period. It was a slowish type start. Second half of the back-to-back, Montreal looked like the fresher team, but the Leafs leveled off, got a big-time goal. I thought it was interesting there in the first period to get that scoring play underway. It was like Timmins from Benoit and Reeves. Like, that'll be the only time we'll ever see that combination combine in a goal, but I think it's great news. Marner, I think, has been outstanding for a good portion of the season lately. I think he's been phenomenal, specifically with Austin Matthews in the lineup. He's going to get us 100 points. He's going to be around that marker. He's going to have a good year. He's going to put himself in line for a contract, and we'll see what happens there. So I'm not shocked. Nylander, I think, has been the best player on the team from day one to now. I think he's been really good, doing his thing, finishing plays. Even the way he scores his goal tonight, I thought was a thing of beauty, and only select players in this league can do. And John Tavares is still, like, weirdly, probably one of the more underrated players on this team. Like, there's always, like, word of his demise, and then it seems like he comes back even harder. It happens like 3-4 times a year. It's going to happen. I'm prognosticating in mid-January. We have that combo as John Tavares finished. But
yeah, well, Nick, we just found out what it is, right? It's the amulet. He's had the amulet. We didn't know about the amulet. Now we know he's got the amulet. He puts that thing on, and all of a sudden, legs come back to him.
That's exactly it. But no, he's been great too, man. It was a good team effort. And I like when they share the wealth. Like, I like when it's less about the big boys and more so about the team. And I think for the most part, throughout this season, yes, the big boys have been good, but I think the supporting cast has been a good story. The crease has been solidified. I thought this is Woll's best effort of the 4 games he's played so far this season. So lots of positives to take. And again, you can't forget, not to bury the lead, but no Austin Matthews, and they're still taking care of business here.
For more content just like this, including game previews, post-game live shows, Leafs Morning Take, Monday through Friday with Nick Alberga and Jay Rosehill with special guests, as well as instant reaction videos. Make sure to be subscribed here to the Leafs Nation YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so you don't miss anything, and drop a like.